This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve this morning. We are looking at the beautiful scenery here where it's all a lot of impalas doing their best of feed right in this open area. And of course, it looks like it's going to be very much in the open sky this morning. So jump aboard to your very own live safari through the African bush. Welcome everybody again to Djuma Private Game Reserve this morning. We're looking at these impalas just to see how they react, but they're all doing their best of feed in this very beautiful open area where they don't actually seem to be disturbed at all. My name is Andrew, and on camera this morning I have Theo. So we're going to be actually begin to drive around, look for what we're going to find for everybody. And then, of course, going to be an open sky, but we're still sitting on a temperature of 11 degrees Celsius, 52 Fahrenheit. And remember, everyone, we're coming to you live from this location. And you can also talk to us, hashtag WildEarth, which is on Twitter, and FC on YouTube channels. But if you are under the age of 18, you can still pop us an email on kidsquestions at wildearth.tv. Or a simple way is to go register on WildEarth website and head over to the live safari page, and you can submit your question there. We'll be answering them live from this area. So my plan, I'll be going back to that Lioness, see if Tabangum is still around there. Myself and Trishal will be operating around. Nick and Ngala also will be up and mobile. So I'm going to be sending you across to Nick and Ngala to say hello to everybody.
Good morning and welcome to andBeyond Ngala Private Game Reserve, everybody. And as you can see, we have managed to start this morning off with a bang. We've come back to the same tree where these three leopards were yesterday, and fortunately for us, all three of them are up the tree again. You can see the leopardess, or the cub at the moment, is busy having a bit of a feed on the carcass. There's not much left of it compared to last night. Just watching the female leopard. It's quite dense where she is, but she's just dropped down the tree again. My name is Nick, and behind camera we've got Odie this morning. And it is quite a brisk morning at Ngala. Probably similar temperature to yesterday, about 10 degrees Celsius. But we honestly could have not asked for a better start. And if you look there, look at this little youngster playing about. We've got, she's at the back there. She's just sitting at the moment. And one of the youngsters is also dropping out of the tree now, so we might have to reposition at some stage. But I just want to give both of the youngsters a chance to come down. The one that we had in the leaves yesterday, I think must be the same one that's in the leaves this morning. And you can see taking a much easier route down the tree than the mother, who just took 2 or 3 jumps and she was down the tree. tiny little leopard cubs. Actually, as we arrived here, that cub was trying to suckle. Odie, there's another one coming down. So the other one that's a little bit shyer is also coming down the tree now. I'm sure it's also wanting to head down to mom. So yeah, it's quite inquisitive, having a good look at us as well. We are also shooting in color this morning. I know it's a little bit dark, but these animals are too beautiful to be doing IR when we don't really need to. I'm impressed with this female. Yesterday when we arrived, she was actually covering scent of where I think she'd fed on this carcass before she'd hoisted it. And since we've all been here, myself, Odie, and a couple of the other rangers, we haven't seen one hyena in the area. And this is an area that's usually got quite a dense population of hyenas. These three leopards have been quite lucky to not have any hyenas lurking at the base of the tree. They have now gone completely behind a thick bush, and I wonder if mom isn't looking for a space that's a little bit more comfortable to lie down and rest. And maybe even with the fact that the cubs are trying to get her to suckle, that might be the reason that she's come down, and both the cubs have come down to join her. So I think what we'll do right now, we don't have a view of any of them, but I think we'll just sit tight and see where they move and where they head, and then when we've got a good idea of their direction, listen carefully. So there is a vehicle in the background, but I'm sure you can all hear the spotted hyena that we were speaking about, calling not too far from where we are. But while we try and reposition and try and get into a nice spot where we can view these three leopards, we're going to send you over to Trish for her intro.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard. I'm so happy to have you. I am Trisha. Hi. I've got Morgan on camera with me. We are all smiles, coffeed up, and ready for this morning. Now, I am in the south, and we're going to make our way east towards Chitwa and spend some time there. But I'm just coming past the area that I would expect Kalamba to come into if she did decide to come into Djuma, either this morning or last night after she went into Little Gowrie. Well, not she went into, she was only in Little Gowrie. She was not in Djuma. So we'll just do a quick look around here, see if she's used that same path that she's become that's become regular for her. What's nice when you see a leopard actually using the path you've been seeing tracks on, then it builds this whole data set about the leopard in your head, and you become a little bit more kind of in tune with their movements and them. Feels like you know them just that little bit better. So last night, or it was like just the evening, we found her at that pole, but in Little Gowrie. So I want to look for tracks that could have come out and into Djuma. I don't see any for now, but remember the other day when we found her on that exact same route, it was a little later in the morning, so there's still potential. Andrew's going to be working Djuma. I'm going to head off to Chitwa now.
So we are also still heading. I'm making my way to that Lioness from last night, and then just to see what is there. If she's still around, maybe Tabangumi is also still around. I'm not sure. We're gonna find out when we get there. if the lionesses finally move, finish all carcasses, and the leopard would move different way as well. So we only found out when we get there. Still great morning to look for a cat. Just not too sure whether she would move far from there or not, but we found out.
So as you can see, it is exactly what we expected. The female leopard just dropped down the tree. I think she might have come down to rest, but the two youngsters followed her in the hope that they would be able to come and suckle for a little bit, and exactly that. And what Odie pointed out, which is quite amazing now that we're seeing them against this much lighter grass, is just how dark these two baby leopards still are. And it's worlds apart to what we saw yesterday compared to today, how relaxed these two cubs have become with the vehicles. In just a day, pretty much. Really important for them to get a good amount of milk from the mother so that they can grow and keep nice and strong. And we have seen them feeding on the carcass as well, so I'm expecting that they will be weaned off and stop drinking the milk relatively soon. See both their heads tucked in there, much more amicable than those lion cubs suckling that we've seen over the last few days here in Ngala. And that's because there's only two of them, which makes life a little bit easier for the mother leopard. Doesn't have 6 or 7 youngsters fighting over the teats. Look at that beautiful necklace around her, the mother leopard as well. You can see, although she is resting and closing her eyes, keep watch of her ears. You'll see they tend to turn in different directions every now and then, because she's got to make sure that she's alert if something like a hyena does come in. She can get those youngsters up and in the tree, which I'm sure by now they've learned to do quite effectively as well. It's been a long time since we've seen leopard cubs on Ngala. It was pretty much before the original COVID-19 lockdowns in South Africa. We had 2 of the youngsters, which actually Odie was chatting to me about, and he was saying that they saw quite a lot in that initial stage of having WildEarth on the property. Since then, leopard cubs have been completely missing in action, so it's fantastic that this female's had some cubs and in an area where we can actually track them and find them and view them. It really is special. No, I don't think so. So Odie was asking if they saw New Zulus, which is another female leopard in the sort of central western part of Ngala, which we have seen on the show a couple times. Her youngsters were born during COVID, so she didn't have any vehicles moving around them. They were found very rarely, and because of that, her 2 youngsters are incredibly unrelaxed. They're probably approaching about 2 years now, where they're just starting to become independent. If you see them from 300 meters away, they just disappear into the bush. So with the fact that we've started viewing these youngsters, I mean, when we found the den site initially, they were still tiny, and that's when we zoned the area, so we weren't didn't want to put any vehicles in there at all when they were that small, because it could potentially be a sensitivity issue and a big risk to the youngsters. Even if the mother is there, when they're that small, they can't really move away and climb trees. But have a look at how that cub is now trying to maneuver mom's belly so that it can get a little bit more milk. Leopard lover Ngala is producing the magic this morning. So happy that we get to spend some more time with these three animals as well. Okay, and you can see now ears pricked on the mother, having a good look around, making sure there's nothing lurking around. And we had a look at the carcass as well. We won't be able to really see it from this angle, but it's unbelievable how much these three animals have eaten since the first time we saw it yesterday. I think they'll probably stick around this tree for the morning, but I would be surprised if they're still here this afternoon. I'm sure we'll come check, but I think by this afternoon there's a good chance they might start looking for, at least the female might start looking for some water, which is not far from here. I'm just going to take a moment to sit quietly and enjoy these cubs suckling while mom rests. James, it's a tricky one to say. There used to be a large male leopard before lockdown that we referred to as the Tswalu Tom, which I'm not sure if we got on the show, but once lockdown started, he vanished. We're not sure where he went, but his territory was a really big portion of andBeyond Ngala's property in the central parts. And he is actually the father of this female, and the previous youngster that she had, he sired. So I don't think it's him, because he's been gone for an extended period now, so there's no ways that he could have mated with this female. Other than that, we've seen a new big male leopard in the eastern parts of Ngala that is very unrelaxed, and we haven't really managed to spend much time with him. I think one or two of the rangers have seen him briefly. I was lucky enough to see him the other day in a tree about 100 meters off the road, feeding on an impala, and as soon as we went off-road, he also just jumped out the tree and ran away. So we didn't get a good shot of him either. There are a few young male leopards that are moving around this area. Don't think they would be the ones that mated with her. If my suspicions are correct, I'm going to potentially say that it could be that big male leopard with half an ear, which we refer to now as the Mandleve male. Since Tswalu disappeared, he's been starting to move a lot more north towards the riverbed. We've been seeing his tracks, we've been hearing him rasping, sort of a little bit west of where this female's territory is, but if I had to take a guess, I would guess it's him that's the father. The male leopard dynamics have been rather confusing for the last year on this property, with the fact that resident male Tswalu Tom just disappeared off the face of the earth. I was seeing tracks of him, seeing signs of him, and then one day he was just gone. So I don't know if maybe he got into an altercation with a lion, and the lion killed him, maybe hyenas, but probably not for a large male leopard, so I'd have to guess maybe a lion. I don't think there would have been much human conflict out in this part of Ngala. It's quite far from any fences, and we haven't seen any snares around the property, so I don't think it was that either. But who knows what could have happened to him. It was, one day he was here, and then the next day, it's like he vanished off the face of the earth. But yeah, if I had to guess, I'd probably say Mandleve male. I might be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. We've been struggling around Ngala, as I'm sure most of you know, to find spots or these leopards for about 4 or 5 months. And now hopefully with this female having these cubs, our viewing of her is going to get much better. And then that male leopard that I was speaking about, that half-eared male, because he's coming closer towards the Timbavati riverbed, we've got a little bit more of a road network around that area, so we can actually see his tracks and track him. Previously, when he was in the south, there were areas between roads or blocks that were well over 600 to 1,000 hectares. So you can imagine if a leopard goes into that area, it can live there for a week and a half before you see his tracks come out on the road. Very wild property in that sense, but makes our lives of tracking and finding specifically leopards a lot more challenging than, for instance, somewhere like the Sabi Sands, where their blocks are much smaller. But it does give that wilderness experience. When you do find them, the excitement is 100% there. Might have heard a few vehicles passing in as a sort of white noise in the back. We are quite close to one of our main roads that runs through the property to get to the Safari Lodge in the north. So just so everyone knows that we're not sitting right next to a road, but it is one of our main roads. Probably some staff that are coming back, maybe some private contractors coming into work. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to stick with these leopards for as long as we can this morning, and see if they don't maybe climb up the tree again, or just watch them suckle. But for now, we're going to send you over to Andrew, who has managed to find himself a cat as well.
So everybody, we got into this position of the Lioness, which she's still around here. And then also we got the Leopard on our right hand side, which is all very interesting. Like I just said yesterday evening, that he's very brave. See what he's doing there. He's really hoping to get his prey back. But not while the Lioness is still around here. So all he's going to try his best. And it was a brief visual of a single hyena that ran away from here. See how he moves. He moves very carefully. That Lioness, she don't even realize that he was coming from the other side. He's gonna keep himself distance again. And what I just experienced here is an audio of lions, but maybe it's a different bride. They're calling far south of here. And then she never interested in that. She never responds, and she never even attempt to look in the direction. So I'm going to reposition here just to see how much left of that little antelope. think it's a little left head and legs back there. So we're going to stay here just to see what is going to happening.
Hello everyone, my name is Elmarie and I'm very excited about this drive. My husband Kleinhan bought me this Ticket to Dream for my birthday as a present because he knows I watch WildEarth all the time. I couldn't be more happy. I've never had such a great present in my life before.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
Okay, my favorite part about WildEarth is the characters, and then of course I love the bush and I love Africa, and just the fact that I can follow every day, that's one of my favorite things.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
Being on a live drive on WildEarth is really great because you can actually now smell the bush, see the animals in real life. You have to really make a plan and just do it.
As one of the industry's best and Fagasa endorsed training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fagasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
My name is Ross and I'm a field guide at andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on WildEarth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
So as you can see, the female has turned over, facing the other way, and look how she's playing with the little one and the other one's coming back now. So what we did do is we just try to reposition, and the youngsters, as soon as the car gets running and moves, they're a little bit nervous, so that's why that one moved a little bit away to the back. But you can see as soon as we sit nice and quiet, it doesn't want to miss out on the grooming and the playfulness with Mom this morning. Oh, it's fantastic to see little leopards playing like this. See Mom grooming them as well, keeping them nice and clean. So Mom just grabbed her with her front left paw and pulled the cub down. hoping that she rolls back over this way and exposes her teats this side so the youngsters jump over her and come and suckle again. So Levi, we think the mom is about 6.5, 7 years old, maybe just a little bit younger than that. These cubs are maximum 3 months old. As I said, we haven't really seen them too much. We sort of knew when she started denning, and from the time where we first saw the suckle marks on her teats and the area where her tracks were leading in and out, it was about 3 months ago. So I'd say probably around the 3-month mark, maybe just under 3 months. Cubs are causing chaos this morning. Can you see how it's just one cub that's being much more playful with the mother than the other? The other one at the back is quite content. Oh, this is what we were hoping for. Let's see if they don't jump over and come the side of mom. Actually see how the suckle marks have been created as well. Just trying to look for my binoculars. You can see it's almost raw where these youngsters have been suckling. Super interesting spot patterns on the two youngsters as well. I'm just having a look at. Almost looks as if they are 3-3 on either side. It's still tricky to tell at this age though. Definitely couldn't have asked for a better way to spend this Thursday morning. I think I could sit here all day and be content. They go chasing each other around the back of the bush. So we'll keep a good lookout for when they do come back. You can see at the moment the mother's staring straight at us. But she's not too worried. On her age there, have a look at her nose. You can still see a little bit of pink on her nose, so she's not an incredibly old leopard. A cut or two in the ears. So Hillary, at Ngala and within andBeyond, we tend to try and not name our animals. What we do is we give them a name based on a characteristic of them. So if you were to call her something, it would be the Ngala female. But we try and avoid that to ensure that we keep these animals as wild as possible. But yeah, the Ngala female is what we refer to her as. Roan is our leopard man here at Ngala, and he is desperate to see these little cubs. Look at it jumping there on mom's tail. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to see them yet, so I think he will be very jealous of us this morning. I wonder, with mom now up and facing in a direction, I wonder if she didn't hear anything. The way she keeps looking up the tree, I think we might get lucky with seeing her go up, whether it's back up to feed or just back up to find a spot to lie. always find when leopards look up into the tree, it's almost like they're planning their route and not quite sure which route they're going to take. So, Cheeks, I've been trying to have a really good look this morning with young leopards. It's very tricky to sex them. I think yesterday we saw one as a female. So I think we know that one is a female. One of the youngsters not in the jackalberry tree right next to us. Very brave cub. And have a look at that light. Oh, and it's managed to find a bit of Ngala fur that probably the mother plucked off. You can see, we've seen them feeding on the carcass, but most of the time they just want to play. But that light is to die for with the green leaves of the jackalberry in front. Very brave little leopard. This is definitely the closest that I've seen them so far. Gonna try carefully have a look and see if we can't sex these two leopards, because it'd be quite interesting to see. What we're looking for now is basically under the tail to see if they've got, or which sex of genitalia they have. And there's no real way to tell from the size of their head or anything. That one looks like a little female, and I think that's the one that we thought was the female yesterday as well. Just wait a few minutes and see if the other one doesn't pop out. The female, the mother leopard, has just moved off to the left. It's quite a dense area. We might be able to see her a little bit. But there we've got another one of the youngsters coming out. Oh, it's tricky to see. Odie's doing magic this morning with the camera. They are in quite a tricky area to see them. And once again, I don't want to move around too much. So it's cubs are chasing each other around. So it's probably best for us to just sit tight and see if I'm sure they're going to come back into the clearer area in a few moments. Oh, little energetic jumps. There's that white tip of the tail, which I always mention when searching for a leopard, probably going to be what we see first. If you listen carefully as well, watch what the mother's doing there with her front paw. It looks like she's trying to cover the scent of something. Whether she defecated there or urinated there, I was... just see these little leopard cubs jumping over the back of her. I was focused on the cub, so I'm not sure what she's trying to cover, but it's definitely some type of scent that she is looking to cover. So Lynn, I got the same question last night. I think this is her third litter. Her first litter we think was washed away in a flash flood in the same drainage line that these two cubs were born. Then her second litter, we know that she had two cubs and she denned less than 300 meters from here. And we saw one of those cubs reach adulthood, or at least independence, but one of them unfortunately did end up dying. So we think it's her third litter now. Just need to quickly chat on the radio. Go ahead, Fred. So just bear with me. One of the other rangers who has not yet seen these cubs, I think, is quite interested in coming in and having a look, which we would not want to prevent him from coming in. Fred, go ahead. Yeah, go.
Approaching tourist street. What's my best approach? Should I come down power lines?
Yeah, affirmative. Come down power lines. I'll make space for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend a few more moments here. I think this will probably be our last view of these leopards for this early part of the morning. Maybe a little bit later, near the end of drive, we'll be able to sneak back in and see if we can grab another look. But it's been absolutely incredible watching them this morning, and for the last few minutes watching these little cubs play so confidently around the vehicle is quite a treat. Yeah, Fred, if you just come down.
Well, I really hope that he does get to sneak in a bit. Or a little bit later. It is really a treat. Sorry, Morgan and I were half communicating about the sun. So you saw that awkwardness where it's a bit too harsh. Maybe if we get it through the trees. So I'm now on a road called Shirombe Road. It's the one that goes round the top, close to Gari Main in Chitwa, with the Chitwa open area just here on my right. I'm keeping an eye out for tracks because there's some nice sand here and tracks look great. I don't see any except for hyena just yet. So I'm hoping that there'll at least be some movement, some alarm calls. I'm not actually seeing too many antelope out in the open area. I normally do. But I'm not. But we're going to make our way to the Chitwa driveway side. Sorry, let's just stop here for a moment. I'm going to make my way to Chitwa driveway side and see if I can pick up any tracks there. Just had a feeling here. A lot of the times you can have a bit of a tense feeling or particularly not feel very relaxed. And then you often find that there is an animal watching you, or you then find a leopard in the bush or something like that. You can almost feel that kind of thing. Obviously, it's related to the knowledge, latent knowledge in your head that makes you a little bit more aware. Well, we'll just check it out.
So now the leopard has moved away from that lioness. So he moved further south towards heading down the Galago Pan, and then we don't have a visual. We only saw the track coming this way, right on top of our vehicle track. So he's moving south. So I'm going to try see if we can find him. So eventually he had decided to move off that area. Where he's gonna go drink and go back there. We'll find out. So you're asking, do I know how far they pride? So the report was that they inside Manyeleti, so it's far from there. I'm not sure how far in, but the guy said that they're far away from even physically boundary of Sabi and Manyeleti there, so they have pushed further west-north from that location where that Lioness is. Alison, you're asking that is it possible that maybe she kicked out of the pride? No. Then she wouldn't call out for them. So she won. She's not actually kicked out of the pride. And that's very rare for a lioness to be kicked out of the pride. They seems to form the family bond together, especially females. They love one another in the pride. And she's not older that she would be maybe left behind by maybe delaying of keeping up with the pride. No, she still have a healthy looking young cat. So yeah, she just lost the pride for now, though she will probably find them again. So we'll be soon appearing down to the pen. See if he's there yet, or maybe delayed. Lay down somewhere in the thicket. So 50, you asking that, does that lioness look injured to me? No, she's not injured. She was not limping the morning we found her roaring. A little scar on her right inside, but looks pretty much healed. So she was not limping even out of that, with just a little cut. She's not sick. Doesn't actually look sick or weaker. We come to a dam here. Small pan. Doesn't look like he has come in here yet. So I'll probably just gonna park here a little bit to see for probably 2 minutes. Hopefully if he would make his way down here, he would probably come in, because it's actually a big block from where we just saw the track cut off into the wood. Just gonna take a look at these doves here. They're all having a morning, searching for a seed, grass seed. So I'm gonna be stationary here for the next 3 minutes. Hopefully let Tabangume appear to drink.
Across southern and East Africa, the Endangered Wildlife Trust works tirelessly to save species, protect critical habitats, and benefit people. Join the EWT in returning wildlife to the wild. Go to ewt.org.za to find out more and follow our socials to see how you can get involved. Protecting forever, together.
I love being a cam op for WildEarth. The animals coming right up close to you, especially like lions. Sometimes you get nervous, but you have to go with the flow. My favorite animal to film is the elephant because of how big it is. But when it's really up close to you, it's one animal that you would say, I really respect you.
Guys, just watch what's happening. See, watch the elephant, watch the lions. See, the first ones to run are the cubs. Can you see them? They are right here. I'm not sure how scared you were, but I was quite nervous. But absolutely incredible.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hello everyone, my name is Trishala and I am a naturalist and safari guide here in Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. I think that the information that we provide, and most importantly the questions that you ask, give both you and I a really good idea of what's going on. My friend Fernando here, he's a flat-necked chameleon and I love them. They're just these gems that you manage to find in the bush.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
So welcome back everyone, and as you can see we are busy bumbling around. Temperatures have dropped drastically, it is freezing cold, believe it or not, even though the sun's come up. It's much colder than it was about half an hour ago. So I think we might try and look for a nice sunny area, try and drive in the sun to warm up a little bit. There are lots of elephant tracks in the road, so there's a chance we might come across those at some stage. They are heading in the same direction that we are going in, and I think also our plan is, because no one's checked the area where those lionesses and those youngsters were yesterday, so I think this morning we'll try and see if we can't find them from here. Definitely what could be a morning full of baby cats at Ngala, which would be amazing. And elephants as well. I'd love to see some elephants. I haven't seen really many big herds recently. I was mentioning yesterday that we've been seeing a few bulls around and no real massive herds, so I wouldn't mind seeing a big herd with some babies. The herd we saw yesterday was quite nice, quite brief, but also lovely to see, and they moved off sort of north and east from their position into the Kruger Park, or out of Ngala's private concession in the Kruger and into the actual Kruger Park. It's quite nice to be moving a little bit as well. These tracks are really fresh. It looks like some of them just cut south into the left-hand side of us. So who knows what we might see coming up in front of us. There's also really nice big clearings ahead, so there's a chance we might get some of the more general game species, maybe some impala or some zebra. And also, what's been interesting in this part of the reserve, from here until a road called Henny's Road, along a road we're currently on, which is called Old Orpin, which, just for a bit of history, used to be the old postal route from Acorn Hook into Mozambique. And this used to be before tar roads were built in this area. This is the road that people would have used to enter Orpin Gate in the Kruger National Park. So just a little bit of history regarding the road and its name being Old Orpin. Which I was saying that there have been 2 ostriches around here as well, which is, they do occur in Kruger and we do see them from time to time, but it's definitely not a common bird that we see in this part of the world. So maybe if we're super lucky we'll come across them as well. But nice to just be bumbling around looking for pretty much anything that pops its head up until we get to that area where those lions are. See in front of us there's another vehicle coming from the western area of this road. I'm just going to pull over and make some space for Yapi to cruise past. Ernie just gave us a bit of an update there as well. So while we keep bumbling in search of hopefully some elephants and maybe some other animals, we're going to send you back to Djuma with Trish, who is also on a bumble.
That's a great sighting if you're going to get the cubs as well as some elephant babies. It'll be a baby morning, wouldn't that be nice? Speaking of babies, Kuchava has her cubs on the Mala Mala boundary. And that's Mala Mala. I heard cubs, so it must be more than 2 cubs. Congratulations, Kuchava. Now there's a whole bunch of tracks here, mostly hyena, but I'm just having a good look for anything else amongst these tracks and into this road. Thandi and Mareebs had a kill here on Chitwa last night near the airstrip. So I want to make sure that I'm really looking hard. So do excuse me for not looking at you too much. It's around the same place that I felt that I stopped earlier and felt a little bit like I was being watched. There's lots of parts. So at some point it seems that they crossed into Torchwood, Thandi and Mareebs, and then crossed back out into Chitwa. But I'm not sure if those are tracks from yesterday, before they had their kill, or it's tracks from this morning. So many hyena tracks. Hi, Lily Pan. You'd like to know if the scent of a leopard's urine is stronger if she's pregnant. I mean, definitely to another leopard, it will be able to signal that. But to a human, it can sometimes smell stronger, but it also can smell stronger when they're in estrus. So it depends. And our noses are not really equipped and designed to take any cues from the urine of leopards. So I can't smell it. That's exactly where I went off, and I felt a little uneasy here. Come on, come on. Did you walk through here? When animals cross a road, as the tracks become a lot more difficult to see because you're not following tracks. You have to look at the perfect exact time that they're going to cross the road. Jackson, you'd like to know when, or how do hyenas know when to follow a predator? It is amazing, to be quite honest. I know that they will pick up scent. They have incredibly acute sense of smell. Very well developed olfactory areas, as well as large noses. So they can smell very, very, very well. So they use their sense of smell, but they can also hear very well. And the thing is that they're focused because they do scavenge about half of the time. They're more attuned to those sounds, the sounds of other predators, smells of carcasses, etc. I'm not sure what it is I'm feeling. I just want to see one track come out here so that I can get a bit of a clue. I'm feeling quite nice and focused, so I hope that we'll be fruitful here, attempting to find Thandi and Marieb's, but we'll send you over to Andrew for now. He's also looking for his leopard.
Impala there. Let's have a look at them. So we stopped at a little pan, but nothing came out. But it's so that, there's a lot of antelope here. The impala just before the pan, it's just a little wood that he actually came in this block. But we're just going to see how they react. You never know, maybe he's going to try stalk them if he sees them. I'll just take it easy. So there. This is actually woodland, tall grasses. If it happens, maybe you spot them. He would take his own time. If it's not easy for a target in that moment, he would go down, lay down, watch them all the time, if he's ever around here. So we're probably gonna drive around, circle around in this area of this impala. In the meantime, I'll be sending across to Nick in Ngala.
So as you can see, we've managed to find ourselves one of these larger pachyderms. It looks like just one single elephant bull. We've now turned onto a road called Henny's, and we did drive all open, and we saw quite a few elephants. It was quite nice for Eddie and myself to see a larger herd of them, but they were just too far away to get. Oh, there's a second bull popping out as well. See how much bigger this bull that's walking into picture now is compared to the other one. Got quite a much larger head, very short, stubby tusks. But you can see these elephants really enjoying the longer grasses in this area. See how he was taking his trunk and moving it up and down to try and remove some of the soil off the roots of the grass before he eats it. Very, very mellow elephants this morning. Just want to quickly give you a bit of perspective as to where we've been this morning and where we are now. And if you have a look here, there is a map of Ngala, which I don't know if you've seen too recently, but see all the different colors. Those are basically the broad habitat types. Here's the andBeyond Ngala tented camp in the east. The female leopard and the cubs were literally just there. So right next to tented camp, which is nice and easy start for the morning. And then we drove along this road all the way to this junction here, and we've just turned north on this road called Henny's Road, and these elephants are just on our left hand side over here. So just quite an interesting perspective of the reserve, and from this area we're going to keep heading towards the riverbed, which is the blue river that flows through. That's the Timpawati River, which as we know is a dry riverbed at the moment, and those lions that we had yesterday morning were just on the northeastern side of that crossing. So I think once we've had a nice view and spent some time with these elephants, we'll start to make our way in that direction. And the elephants are being quite willing this morning. They're actually now coming towards us, which is fantastic. Moving very slowly through this green area on the map, which is more of a grassland area. It's much more nutritious soil, much better grass and more knobthorn trees, or Senegalia acacias in the area, and that's why these animals tend to spend a bit more time here. While OD has absolutely no view of that elephant, I'm just going to see if we can sneak a bit forward and see if we can reposition to get another view, because it is quite beautiful having the sun on them this morning. So we'll just sneak a little bit forward. We should get a view. There we go. I'm just not going to turn off just in case we need to reposition. So we'll just give Odie a second to see what the view is like from here. Yeah, and it's pretty good. I'm sure these elephants have been feeding throughout the night. I haven't seen any wet marks on them. I also had a good look at their trunk. There was no change in color, so I don't think they've had any water this morning or in the early hours or later hours of last night. And I think that's what these elephants might be doing. I think they're going to feed very slowly all the way north, so similar direction that we're going to be moving through towards the Timbavati riverbed. And just west of the crossing that we're going to cross over, there's an area that's had really good elephant viewing recently, where they've been digging in the riverbed for water. So I think as the morning starts to heat up, that might be where these two elephant bulls head.
I'm still heavily focused on just tracking this particular or searching this particular block, so I don't see tracks for Thandi and Marib's coming out. So we're gonna go back and look at the tracks of them going in, and we might just. She's not the type of leopard I want to be on foot with, but I might take a quick walk in the block. That is something that is done. It's not unsafe. Just if they use a game path, it's a lot easier. Otherwise, I won't be able to see tracks. So if I see tracks, if the tracks go onto a game path, then I can walk. But if they don't, then there's not much we can do. So let's have a look-see here. Now that the sun's come up in this kind of way, it's soft and it's in front of me. I mean, it's not ideal, but I can at least see tracks pretty well. And not too many vehicles haven't been out this side yet, so they shouldn't have been obliterated just yet. I do have a feeling. So many tracks for hyenas. It is unbelievable. I will pay more attention to you guys in a bit. Just once I've cleared this block and made sure there's nothing in it that is valuable to us, I promise I will.
So everybody, we found the leopard, not in the same area where we just saw impalas. As you can see how he's staring in that position. So the impala, they're actually on the far left inside of us. So we're just parking the vehicle here. So see if we can see how the impala react. As you can see, impalas are all right there still. Probably haven't really been aware of him being there. Only problem, there's some birds around here, so he would have a little problem with birds. Because once they spot that leopard, they will shout a lot. And these antelope, they were gonna vanish, rain away. She's beautifully chewing cud. Oh, you see the cud coming up. Along the throat to be chewed. So she's having a great time of herself there. So the leopard is still stationary, the very same place there. And then he's still really focusing in this way, so he's still looking in this direction. But it's not possible, I think, for him. That's why he cannot move very much for now. He cannot approach. Patricia, so you're commenting that you love the Tabangumi. Indeed, he's such a beautiful cat. And then he has all the talent of a hunt, just so that he killed the young kudu, though it's stolen already, but he's taking another chance over here. To kill another one. So Zoe, you comment saying that hope he made some hunt, he deserved it, and then indeed he's actually very much on hunt at the moment. The pen, the water's not far away, but he actually for now forget about the drinking, focusing on the antelope. So yeah, I hope he actually made some kill around here. He's planning on going around. Yeah, it looks like he moved far now, so we're gonna see if we can get slightly close in that direction. But it's the direction of water, whether he's planning to go around or he's gonna go drink first. impala that didn't actually spot him, so he had a good chance of maybe coming back here after a drink. Let's find out. So we got him still. He's just right there. I'm just gonna park off here. He's probably very interested still, so he's trying to go around. I gotta have to answer this radio because somebody was making their way here and they don't know where I am. Yeah, Duncan, come to the Gallagher pen itself. I'm in this little wood, you won't miss me. So he's far from us already, but we're gonna just to keep sight of him. The road here. We're in Impala there on the right, but still far. So we're gonna keep sight of him, and then he's probably gonna have to cross this road to head the direction of Impala there. Just taking a big loop around and just behind the little mound, but he was going to pop out there. few inch forward. There he is, still got him. So, Veronica, you're asking how far he is from impalas. So it's another 500 meters from where he is to the impala. So he's trying to do a big loop. And then as you can see that he's heading that way. Duncan, you park there, he's coming your way from your right hand side. So there is another vehicle there, and in this situation, he's got a company anyway. We've been brave enough not to go close to him or show Impala that we're watching on something. So let's move forward. Impala, they actually there. I mean, I'd rather stay here. It's quite a nice and tall grasses here. But the problem with the wind seems to be died a little bit down. And when it picks up, there's a chance that maybe the wind would go to the prey species. It's only a thing when a leopard hunt. I have a problem with the wind direction. But when I hunt while there's a wind, then I already know how to deal with it. Always downwind. Jeron, so you're asking how close I need to get before he pounces. So pouncing leopard will need anything from at least 4 meters. He may not actually pounce directly to the prey species, but you would aim for maybe 1 pounce, and then the second one to the animal. But usually pounce is over 3 meters. And then where we last saw him there, the guys still see him. We got a side of impala here, which is we're just gonna see how they react. They may, because they seems to be facing his directions. And he's also gonna do a little movement across this road. Then we know he's getting nearer and nearer to impala. So we're gonna stay put here, watch this, and I'm gonna be sending you across to Ngala.
So welcome back to Ngala, everybody, and as you can see, we've managed to find one of these ostriches that I was mentioning earlier. Have a look how dark black he is. If you look on the bottom of his legs as well, you'll see it's a little bit pink right down near the bottom, and I'm hoping that he comes out into the open. Oh, there we go. You can see that beautiful pink bill as well. So this is a male ostrich that we're busy looking at in the perfect area that we'd expect to find them, in a nice open grassland area. He's had his head down, foraging, mainly feeding on grass in this area. I don't think there's too much else that he will be feeding on. Just amazing to see an ostrich out in the open. The heaviest bird on planet Earth walking across here. And Andrew's busy watching that male leopard, I think, hunting some impala. And I think maybe a very large male leopard might be able to bring down an ostrich. But other than that, the only real worry would be of lions. Very unlikely, but potentially cheetah. I heard about an ostrich that was in Phinda that ended up getting killed by cheetahs. I think it was cheetahs, might have been lions. I don't know if cheetahs would be able to bring down a fully grown male ostrich. He has moved into an area that's a little bit thicker, but you can just see a little bit of the white feathers, back of the white feathers moving through there. I think what we'll try to do quickly is just see if we can't reposition the vehicle. So bear with me for 30 seconds. I'm just going to keep going down. We're on one of the... It's an unbelievable, beautiful road, but you'll see there are a few power lines that run along this road, so we tend to try and avoid this area. But when you find something like an ostrich, we can't resist but having a look. It is unbelievable to see an ostrich on Ngala. It's something that we do see every now and then, but not incredibly common. What's amazing me this morning is the colors on his leg and bill. That bright pink starting to pop. And that's his breeding colors that are coming out, and I'm sure he's probably looking for a female this morning. In this specific area that he's moving through, I've only seen a male ostrich. I'm pretty sure it was him that I saw about a week ago. The other side of the road where we were viewing those elephants a little bit earlier, that's where we tend to see more ostrich. But you can see he's quite relaxed with the vehicle moving across, very cautiously looking around as well. Just making sure that there's nothing that's too much of a worry for him. But have a look how strong those legs are. Just really muscular and quite thick as well. Obviously wants to hide from us today now that he's sneaking behind that young leadwood and magic quarry. I'm sure he's going to pop out now on the other side. Acacia, these birds tend to primarily eat plant material. So grasses, where they don't just eat the seeds, but they actually pull up and eat the whole grass, including the roots. They'll They'll eat leaves as well that they tend to strip from branches. I think in the more arid areas in the Kalahari and the Karoo, where they've got a few more succulent plants, they tend to feed on those as well. Yeah, I think that's about it. But yeah, basically just eats plants. I did read once in captivity, there was an interesting thing where they ate some termites, but I've never seen them feeding on termites, yeah. So mainly plant materials and leaves and grasses. You can imagine a big bird like that probably has to eat quite a large amount of that to suffice their diet.
So our leopard is actually not anymore interested on impala. It seems to be another antelope in this bush where it looks like a Ngala to me there. So he's got quite a few choices here to go for. We don't have a visual of him now, but he's probably around here. Just gonna stay put, see what happened. And that Ngala is still standing stationary. There's quite a few of a Ngala. Not only one Ngala, but looks like a smaller group. There's also quite a lot of birds calling in the background, but they're not calling because of him, because he's not there. He's on our pretty much head of our vehicles, or slightly to the left and side of us. So the Ngala, they probably haven't realized definitely yet that there is a cat around here. But they are some stationary, some are just grooming themselves. So leopard need a lot of time. When they hunt, they take so much time because they don't prefer to chase. They always ambush the animal. With the chances great here, with these grasses being so tall, and browny grasses, which matches his color with these rosette spots pattern. Michael, you're asking how far from here to Galago Pen. So it's not far away. We're just slightly to the western side of Galago Pen. Probably 110 meter down there. It's not far away. It's a young male Ngala. See the horn? Started to grow up. But also these species of antelope, they have both good sense of smell, hearing, and eyesight as well as grade. So, John, you're asking from how far do a braised species can smell predators? You know, they can pick up scent of predators from anything 300 meters, 400 meters. And then that, depending on the wind also. But if it's no wind, just like what happened here, they will probably won't smell anything except, hearing it or spotting it. So it's always wind would alert them there is something around. But also the wind, if there's a chance that wind blow to them from their predators. If it's not, then this is when they've been downwind. And there's no chance they can smell them until they hear him or see their predators. Nandi, you're asking which is easiest for the leopard to hunt, Ngala or Impala. So I might say that the Impalas, it's quite easy for leopard to hunt, especially if they were in this thicket. and then of course we'll be just talking about something else. But with this antelope, they hearing it more than impala can hear, and they're meaning to be in thicket, this antelope. So impala, they're more likely to be in, they love open area. So there's a difference. These, they can actually still protect themselves by both sight hearing and sense of smell very well than impala can. So it's easier for impala than in the Ngala. Also in Ngala, they can make sound. They can bark, like a very deeply barking sound. But for now, it looks like they haven't spotted that leopard yet. So we're gonna stay put here, see what is happening. I'm gonna be sending you across to Trishal.
And looked, and I'd be very satisfied that I looked thoroughly for Thandi and Maribs, but nope, they seem to have moved off in an area that I can't see any tracks for, but certainly not in that block. I went in and had a look and nothing. So we are now on Gari Main, and we're going to see if we were actually moved into so many tracks for hyenas in and out, but none for leopards. But I still have that feeling, like something, I don't know, like just a kind of feeling. Something's gonna happen feeling. Look at the bits of green. It's popping through in the firebreak. Very nice. Animals will come through, antelope, and really gobble all of these bits up very, very quickly. Look how fresh they look. Fresh and juicy. Anyway, let me send you back over to Ngala as I continue here on Gari Main.
So welcome back everybody, and we found a bit of a birding bonanza here, and they're very, very tricky to get on camera because as soon as OD gets one in, they tend to fly away. I'm just trying to see if we can spot one of them for you. We've had Jamison's firefinches, and they're right up the top. Those birds that are up there, have a look at them. You'll see there's a few, especially that one on the right. well, there's actually a few there with little red bulls. Looks like there's some little red-billed quilias up the top, and then the one right on the top that just dropped down now, it looks like a southern grey-headed sparrow. And they're all feeding together in this little party, looking for grass seeds. It's very tricky to see really any of them at the moment, but there are a few blue waxbills on the ground. We'll just keep a good lookout to see if any of them fly back up into the tree, and then we can get a nice view of them. But there's a lovely little waxbill hopping around, and you can see quite a busy little bird. Every now and then putting its head down, picking at the seeds. And the reason why they're all feeding together like this is just because of the safety in numbers. They feel a little bit more comfortable when there's lots of eyes and ears around. You can imagine if one of those smaller raptors, like a little sparrowhawk or gabbard goshawk, came in, it would increase their chances of being able to evade them and stay safe. There's a little bit of movement at the back there. You can just see birds flying through the camera every now and then as well. I think our presence here might have disturbed this little party a little bit. Odie, if you look in the distance, there's the magpie shrike on the branch quite low to the grass. Let's see if we can get that on. Yeah, well, that one. So you can see that beautiful black and white bird there with a very long tail as well. Old name was pretty self-explanatory, being a long-tailed shrike, and the new name is a magpie shrike. And it is one of our star birds here at Ngala Private Game Reserve. And basically we've got 10 star birds for Ngala, and it's just birds that we think are a little bit unique or special to the specific property. Magpie shrike being one of them. Probably also our most, or the easiest one of the bunch to find. I do enjoy my birding, so it's quite pleasant just being able to sit and watch these birds flutter about and move from tree to tree and down onto the ground, and then every now and then they get a big fright and they all fly up into the top of the trees. No, there's not much. Oh, he's found a spur fowl of some sorts, and if you have a look on it running into the grass, keep a lookout for the face. Can you see that red on the face? A Swainson spur fowl. So Luke, we don't have a birding competition currently running. I just thought it would be nice to have a look at some of the birds that we get around here. A birding competition would be quite a nice game to play between some of the guides. I wonder if Andrew and Trishala would be up for it at some stage. We do within our company, within andBeyond, every year have a birding competition within the whole company, which we call Big Birding Day. And you're allowed to move 50 kilometers from your base. So from Ngala Tented Camp, we go 50 kilometers radius, and all the other lodges and head office in Joburg. And it's an incredibly fun day where we take 24 hours and we see how many birds we can find in the areas surrounding our base camp. And then in that competition, we can identify them through sight and sound, which is quite fun. But I'd be up for a birding competition. It's very hard to do on WildEarth, as we've seen with the birds flying about and moving around, but I'd be keen for a birding competition. But I think now that we've scared all these birds off, I think we'll continue. We do have tracks of the Pride of Lions with the cubs. We saw it in the riverbed when we checked the crossing, and they've headed in this direction, and we just going to keep checking south along this road. I think the tracks have cut off in a westerly direction to our right-hand side here into quite a big wilderness area. So we'll drive down back onto Old Auckland, that road I was chatting about earlier, and check a little bit further west to see if the tracks don't come out. And that's our plan from here.
We have another wonderful guest with us, Sergio Real. Sergio is a holder of the Ticket to Dream.
I bought a Ticket to Dream because I love WildEarth. All of the guides have been awesome. We've been watching for years, and it's a favorite part of my day to get to watch the drives. I look forward to seeing lots of leopards.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
My favorite part of the drive today was definitely an elephant that paid us a visit and came right to our car.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
It's amazing being on a live drive in Djuma. It's just fantastic. The scenery is beautiful and the animals are even better.
The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, encourages people to care for the earth. Through innovative projects, they aim to reverse the serious issues that we face in the world today. One of these projects is Green Coast, a proudly South African award for sensitive and well-managed coastal sites. This sustainability project protects our national coastlines while providing unemployed youth with a love for their environment and a hope for the future. WESA is a membership and volunteer-supported organisation. Every supporter is helping to change the only earth we have. Visit our website to see how you can help care for our earth.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially subalterns and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
So the leopard has actually walked straight past us into that direction, and then it's too thick. This is where he's hunting, so I'm trying now to go wherever it's opened for us to drive through. Leave him in the thicket because he's hunting. Still got him through, but way off there. So we still got a Tavangumi. It's just so far from us, but this actually gives him a chance to do his work without any interfering from us. Seems to disappear. It's going slowly there. So I'm gonna sit here and then we're just gonna move afterwards. But then we're not gonna go directly where he is right now. We're just gonna try get a gap that we can see what he's doing, if it's possible for us to still see him do that. Just gonna move forward. So everyone is saying this leopard is so patient and it's so hungry, must be so hungry. Yes, I mean, from that kill he just lost to a lioness. We're just not too sure how much he's eaten after that before it gets stolen. And now you could see another meat right around us. And then that's why it pushed him so much to hunt very much harder to see if he can get another meal again. So not to starve for too long. So you're very right. So much logs around here. It looks open, but it's a lot of logs that we can't drive over them. Look, so you're asking if can you see the Ngala from where he is right now? I'm gonna drive over this little hill here, because even myself at the moment I don't have visual of the Ngala, but we got a visual of him. So it happens that maybe Ngala they have moved into the very much drainage line system. So they luck thicket. It's quite a brushes where they just went in. As you can see, he's probably had a visual as he moved carefully still. Just gone back around the mound, but very interested on something we can't see from our right hand side. And now there is another vehicles park off on a way distance there, but they're also watching him. Just move it a little forward. So Jupiter, you're saying what a gorgeous animal. You're very right, it's such a stunning, beautiful cat. With his all the rosette spot, now we can see him clearly. with the light coming from it's already light, it's already warm, provide such beautiful view of this pattern in this leopard. Just when lay down, lost interest, as there's no visual of the Ngala, they probably maybe vanish into the drainage line system where it's on our far left hand side. So I'm going to try reposition so we can see him. He just now lay down. Great enough, I think, for now. So we're gonna keep an eye on him. There's quite a lot of birds on the far left of us, but that's probably just the normal communication of a bird. Or what he's doing there now, he's just busy cleaning his face, wiping it off, so that he's awake. Still morning though. All cats will all refresh. Clean their face by salivating or wet at their paws. And or wipe their face.
To my right. Still, there's quite a lot of distance between them at the moment.
Thanks, Duncan. So the other guy's got a Ngala. Still on the, probably my far left from here. But he's also still sniffing on that area. Probably still smell them. just not sure what happened to the impala because they didn't spot him. And then they're probably still stationary back there. Whether he's going to go back there or whether he's going to continue hunting on Ngala, but we will find out.
Well, over on my side of the world, there's not too much going on, but can't keep my eyes off the ground. Keep wanting to look for tracks. So we saw those tracks of Thandi, like I said to you, in Chitwa, but I could not, as much as I tried, could not find them. So now I'm just a little bit more relaxed. I'm gonna just see what the bush has to gift me this morning, if anything. I think some dwarf mongoose, some elephants, those little things. Some birds, and of course some antelope. We're gonna go west. We're gonna go like Zoe's, Belanites, Impala Road, that kind of area. And then just take it easy for the last about an hour of drive or so. The bush feels a little bit more empty without too much insect activity. Hi Lillian, you'd like to know if it's only hunger that motivates predators to hunt, or also opportunity? Also opportunity, like leopards can, and other predators. You may kill twice in one day, or half a day even, within a few hours sometimes, because the opportunity presents itself. And also they're driven by instinct. If I had to take both those things into consideration, the one category I'd put that under is instinct. So when you're hungry, your instinct kicks in to catch something. And then also when the opportunity arises, then the situation mimics the situation in which you are normally hungry and looking for prey. So the prey comes close to you, because otherwise prey is not close to you. So now you're in a situation that mimics the one that you are in when you're hungry, so then instinct kicks in again. And you hunt that animal, or usually it's more of like a opportunistic kill as opposed to a long stalk and things like that. If there's a long stalk involved, then it's more hunger that motivates that. But if it's just a quick thing, a leopard is lying on the grass, it's just finished its kill, the kill's in the tree, and now it's down on the ground and having a nap, and then all of a sudden Steenbok runs past it or starts feeding next to it, not realizing there's a predator there. Then it would just pounce and catch it. There are times when the predator might be so large from everything it's eaten that it could not be as successful with a hunt. But doesn't mean it won't try, especially if it's particularly a particularly good opportunity. Hi Vivian, you'd like to know if there's any buffalo in Djuma? Or Cape buffalo, or African buffalo? Yes, they certainly are, or well, rather, not resident in Djuma. But they certainly move through Djuma. In fact, I saw two on Chitwa. It was just at the bottom in a drainage where we don't get much signal. So we saw two this morning, but they certainly are. And when they do come through, their presence is certainly known. They'll be heard herds of hundreds that come pouring through Djuma. Aha! I see some little friends. And some slightly larger friends in the distance, but not the largest type, just slightly larger. I know this termite mound well, at least. I don't know if it's the same colony using it, or rather the same business of mongoose, dwarf mongoose. I remember having great sighting of dwarf mongoose at this exact termite mound like a couple of years ago. Well, that one's popping out. We've also got a bachelor herd of impala that are feeling a bit aggressive towards each other. A bit of fighting going on. Of course they stop as soon as oh, there we go. It's the young ones. The young ones are getting involved. Look at this mongoose watching them. What's going on there? I love it when they stand up like that, having a look around. Come on, call your buddies to watch this show.
Andrew, come in.
They're so curious. Also, particularly cautious. Extra cautious. But so curious even of other animals. I think it's really only a hornbill that can manage to intimidate these mongoose. He's obviously having a grand time there watching what's happening. Call your buddies to come watch with you. It looks like that impala has just seen the mongoose, or has it seen me? More likely it's seen me. Don't think the impala and the mongoose are having a staring competition. The mongoose looked at me like, come on. So sweet when they stand up like this. So yesterday we had, well, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, we had a question about how can we tell if the mongoose is a youngster or an adult, because there's such a big, they're so small anyway. Now if you look at the top of this termite mound, not the very, very top, not the one looking out at the impala as well, but this one in the middle here, it looks quite small because obviously it is a youngster. But I can tell that it looks smaller than the normal mongoose, even if I don't have like one in frame to show the size difference. But I can still tell that it's smaller. But I know that it's much harder at home to do that. But I hope that you are able to see that. I can hear some babblers. Lots of little things going on here. That little, I mean, it's not a baby, it's like a half-sized one. Has a really nice fluffy tail. A half mongoose. They're very entertaining to watch. Sometimes I just like to sit with them and watch what they do, and then we can chat about what it is or the reasons they're doing the things they do. But they obviously take some time to warm up before they get going. So I'm going to sit with them to see what they do, because they should be fairly warmed up by now.
Hi everybody, I'm Tiana, I'm from Johannesburg, and I am one of WildEarth's biggest fans.
Been watching for 4 years, DG here from the Ozarks.
It's been 4 years for me, and I'm not leaving anytime soon.
It's given me a time away from the hassles of the city, and it's given me a connection to a place that has stolen my heart, which is Africa.
Last year we lost our son, and now we're just watching WildEarth. Love to all you guys.
You are reminding us of the role that we play in nature conservation, each and every one of us. You have reconnected myself to a dream that I had as a child to get involved in nature conservation, and for that I'm really grateful for as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at WildEarth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, you're going to have to register on the website, but once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
We have a baby pangolin, This is off the charts. This animal is about from your fingertips to your elbow. That's the total length of this animal. This is unreal. This is like now my 4th Christmas in a week. We should do this more often.
Tune into WildEarth every single day. It's in your nature.
So everybody, we still got a Tavangumi. He's now right on the top of the mound here, looking around still. These Ngala already have gone far, according to the guy that just told me. He caught them on the driveway there. But maybe he's going to go drink, because his attention was go to drink the water. So the reason he came this far south from that Lioness, so we'll find out. But he's still in focus. Monica, so you're asking, does his coat white or yellow? It's a bit of kind of a slightly a lighter browny coat, but painted with all of these rosette spots. But what you see below his tummy, then it's just a solid spot, dark solid spot. So it's kind of a mix, slightly yellow or a dark or lighter browny. And it comes so much paley white under the belly. You can see clearly. Here's a rosette spot pattern. Something we're hearing where he's looking at now, probably not an antelope that I can hear. Maybe it's a big animal, could be maybe an elephant. Sophie, so you're commenting that he's gorgeous and he's your favorite cat. I agree with you. He's such a gorgeous cat looking. Oops, he's gonna yawn. Leopards are beautiful. So that, it's always, he's not actually lazy. And then he's always do sit around, look around. So I'm going to stay put. I'm going to be sending you across to Nick and Ngala.
So welcome back, everybody, and as you can see, we have managed to find ourselves a lone warthog boar. When he does pick up his head, have a look at the beautiful tusks on him, and notice just below his eyes he's got quite a prominent wart sticking out on either side, and then another set a little bit lower. He's very relaxed feeding at the moment, so there we go. Now you can see those two warts coming out either side of his eyes. Can you see how he's got a little bit of dried mud caked around him? You can actually see the different colors on his body as well. The lighter color at the top, and then sort of from about midway in his body down, it's got a bit of dry mud, which I'm sure was from yesterday when he was inside a mud wallow. The 4 warts on his face indicate to us that it is a male warthog or a warthog boar who, believe it or not, is quite often in this exact position. I've seen him here regularly over the last couple months. And he's grown to become quite relaxed with the vehicle. You see how his back's now slanted. Looks like he's gone onto his knees to try and feed on some of the grasses around there. He is pulling out everything that he can this morning. I'm sure he probably waited for it to warm up a little bit this morning before he woke up. So, buddy, the warts on their faces we think is just cartilage that swells up, and it's just how the animals are built. The females have only got the two lower down just above their tusks, whereas the males, you can see how they're right next to the eyes and extend around the eyes. So that is for protection and fighting. Not exactly sure what would be the initial cause as to why warthogs have got these warts, but I think the ones on the males around his eyes are to protect his face and eyes when fighting with another male. You can see he's not too worried about anything this morning, sort of moving around on his knees. I love watching them when they walk on their knees. I think it's too funny. You can see a little hornbill just dropped down into picture as well, southern yellow-billed hornbill. So we're doing quite well with the birding front this morning. Just an update from us while we were MIA again for so long. We went trying to follow those lion tracks. Signal isn't really that good in that section of the reserve, so we tried to do a loop around as quick as possible. Saw tracks going west into the bush and drove all the way around and checked all the other roads, and tracks didn't come out. So we're quite confident that the lions are somewhere in that area between all the roads, and it's also quite a big area. So if we were to go and try and walk and track, we could be off the vehicle for a good hour and a half before we could find them. So we've decided to move out of that area and come back into the central parts, and that's when we found this warthog in front of us. As I was saying, I think when it warmed up this morning, that's when he would have come out of his burrow to start feeding. He's probably going to feed for the majority of the morning until it gets really nice and hot, which it, believe it or not, is starting to get warm now. And then he might even, there's no clouds today, so I think it is going to get quite warm during the middle of the day. He might head off to one of those mud wallows to try and cake himself in mud to cool down a little bit. So I think we'll keep heading back towards the central parts of Ngala and see if we can't find anything else interesting this morning. And yeah, that's our plan for the next sort of half an hour.
So our leopard is still sitting under, this little bush, but on top of the termite mound. This is our idea of looking around. When they clump the mound, it's all about better view around them. It's a way of hunting as well. You may not stay there the whole day. Still a lot of hours. Still early morning anyway. But I'm sure he's gonna go drink. But whether he's gonna return back to the Lioness or not, I'm not sure. All the baboons in a way distance. Let's take a listen to the sound. So we're just gonna stay here. He's actually listening to the baboon, which is still making a lot of noise.
Unfortunately, our mongoose have left us. They decided they were warm enough, did a bit of stretching, and then they went off to forage, starting their long day of foraging. So now we are in Zoe's, and we're just taking it easy to the north. Wouldn't it be nice to find some elephants along the way? I see a couple tracks here. They have other animal tracks on top of them though, so maybe not the freshest. I love watching dwarf mongoose. Sometimes I sit with them for quite some time. And you see little ones popping their heads out, and you can lose count so easily. You're watching here and someone pops their head out, and then they could go in and pop their head out somewhere else. I've seen that before, on opposite sides of the road. So they went in like a mound here and they popped out on the other side. Obviously at first I thought it's just another one, but the timing just seemed too correct. It was going zoop and then zoop, but I didn't see any identifying features on that particular mongoose to say it is it, but it felt very much like it was the same mongoose, just going up and down. They have a whole lot of tunnels that can connect, especially termite mounds that are close together. They connect those so that they can easily escape from predators and not have to be sitting ducks, you know. They can go underground into the next mound if they've actually created a tunnel. Hi Wilson, you'd like to know if we get all the mongoose species on Djuma. Not all. The ones that we see are, the common ones we see are dwarf mongoose and white-tailed mongoose and slender mongoose. We occasionally see banded mongoose, but we don't see them very often. And we should have marsh mongoose as well. But like yellow mongoose, Stilos mongoose, I haven't seen them, but someone did see a mongoose that looked odd. I think it was Tristan, like months ago, if not years ago, and we were trying to figure out which type it was. So there is potential for other mongoose here, but as far as we've seen, it's just those ones I've mentioned. Yellow mongoose, you see them in Tswalu quite a lot, in Kalahari. You don't see them here. Although slender mongoose have such a wide range of coat colors, fur colors, that sometimes they can have a yellowy coat too. Marsh mongoose, I didn't expect to see them here, and then I saw one, and the other was there. The range of mongoose is quite large, so it's just a matter of whether in that specific area you've seen them, except for some mongoose like the yellow mongoose, which is we see mostly in the Kalahari. Anyway, let me send you back over to Nick in Ngala as I make my way north.
So a discussion of some of the smaller mammals, we've managed to find some of the largest mammals that we get in this area. And in picture you can see a large elephant cow with a youngster, and there's another one that's about to come into picture. There she's crossing next to us, and you can see her head's picked up a little bit, ears are right out. So A little bit of an intimidating posture from these elephants, but they're very relaxed with us being here. It's lovely to find a nice herd so close to the road. Oh, little one throwing some dust and sand on himself. I love how they're able to, on such a hard surface with not much dust, with that amazing trunk of theirs, they're able to pick up so much sand to throw on their bodies. A little bit of a dust bath acts as a protective layer, as well as the fact that it'll kill little mites on their skin. Oh, Mom also doing it. You can see how Mom put herself between us and the calf. It's a bit of a protective measure for the young one, even though we're very comfortable with our presence. And you can see they're now moving off in a northerly direction, also heading in the direction of the Timbavati riverbed. And while they move into this thick area, I know we didn't get to spend too much time with them, but I don't think it's going to be worthwhile off-roading and crashing in there after them. See, as soon as they put a bit of distance between us and them, and they've got a bit of cover, and we haven't turned the vehicle on, haven't moved around, they're very relaxed again, and I think they're going to start feeding in there. Amazing how quietly they move through the bush for such large animals. So Patterson, it varies between elephants, but I think from about, they get bigger and bigger as they get older and older, but they tend to reach sexual maturity, females at about 8 to 10, and the males at about 12 to 14, and they continue to grow after that, and they really only get to, especially bull elephants, to their fully grown size at about 40, 45. So they grow as they get older and older. And that depends on their genes as well, whether they're going to be a very large elephant or a very small one. But they tend to grow throughout their lives as they get older and older. So I think the big bull elephants probably at about 45, 50. So with these elephants having moved off into the thicket, it's really nice that we got a view of them and got to see them nice and clearly crossing the road. I think our plan will be similar to Trishala's and try to see if we can find anything interesting.
The annual Safari Guide of the Year competition aims to create awareness for those men and women who dedicate their lives to tourism and wildlife. This year's event will be held at Marataba, a breathtaking privately managed section of the Marakele National Park in South Africa's Limpopo province. In celebration of this, WildEarth and Marataba Luxury Lodges are offering all explorers a chance to win a 3-night stay at Marataba Safari Lodge for you and a friend. In addition to a spectacular land-based safari, Marataba Luxury Lodges offer an opportunity for guests to cruise peacefully along the Matlabas River, watching the animals as they drink and wallow. The lodge offers you a chance to lie by the pool or enjoy a spa treatment, and one night could be spent sleeping out under the stars in a luxurious treehouse. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer before the 30th of June, and it could be you heading off on a long-awaited getaway. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. As one of the industry's best and Fagasa Indoors training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fagasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July,
Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at andBeyond in Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through andBeyond in Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
Everybody, oops, there we go. He was actually lying there since then, but now probably something getting him active. But what we see now on our left-hand side was all the visitor of elephants that has come into this position, but he's not actually worried about that too much. And the elephants, they haven't actually spotted him there. Otherwise, they would have just going to run into that mound, get him off. But yeah, they may actually just going to walk past by here without any disturbing him. Looks all a herd of elephants. And they are feeding peacefully. Without any disturbance. There is some starling which they always follow elephants. They're benefiting from big animals and from small animals. These birds. So they pick up all the insects that disturb by animals. So you're asking, would be a leopard? Would the leopard defend himself from the elephant? As the only best things for the leopard to do is to run away or get away immediately from the elephants. Oh, there's a young one just came out. Still too young, that. Need a lot of care from the rest of the group here, though. Make sure that young one mustn't separate from the herd. So our leopard's still there, watching the elephants as they walk past by. But he's so happy that they didn't actually see him there, because they would be aggressive with him. The young elephant probably upset on the background. I don't know where it's going because the rest of the group have walked past the area. And that little one is heading back. Probably more a member left behind there. And the leopard still watching what happened. What happened with that young elephant that returned back. Meanwhile, the rest of the herd has walked past to the east. I could hear still a lot of bush going on there. There are a lot of noises, probably more of elephants left behind. Looks like all of other members that were left behind just gonna walk straight towards us. Kelly, you're asking if the leopard can smell the elephant, or elephants can smell the leopard. I think they didn't smell the leopard. Then they would really be angry running into that mound past us here to that leopard. So they didn't actually smell the leopard. That's why they're walking past by here. And that was the last part of the herd, I think. Or just walk past us. And our leopard still find very peaceful shade underneath. But on top of the mound still. it was really so good to spend time with the elephants and the leopard this morning. And unfortunately, everybody, we're coming in the end of the show for this morning. But I just want to thank you all to be joining us. And then it really has been really privileged to have you all on board with us this morning. And we all hope that we're able to join or see each other again this afternoon. 14:30 Central African time. So that will be the best time to actually reunite again and get ready for the afternoon drive. From us, this is all. Goodbye. You all take care.